Ready to do this?
Yes, I am.
Okay. Hi, everyone. This is Julie and Eileen, my mom. She's a little nervous. We wanted to put this video out there to encourage people to be proactive about your health. But also, when we were looking online for a person account video for what really happens when you have a cardiac stress test, we didn't really find anything that put her mind at ease. I think a lot of that is some of the videos out there are really slick marketing, and there's somebody who looks super healthy getting the test. He or she's probably getting paid to do the test, or they're a medical professional, and it doesn't really take it into consideration the fear, the anxiety, what a real person having to go through that test is experiencing. And when you're on the one side of getting a test or not, you might decide not to get it altogether because you don't see an inkling of a representation of yourself in the videos that are online. I mean, there are videos online about everything. Why are there not patient-centered? This is what is going to happen. This is what I experienced. This is what I'm going through. Videos that are out there. That's a shame. So on our way home after the test and everything today, what we went through, we decided we wanted to create one for ourselves, but potentially to help someone else out there that is afraid of getting a test or this test in particular done, and try to give them some words of encouragement so that way they know they're not alone, right?
Right, but yesterday we went on, I don't know what, I'm not,
YouTube.
YouTube. And there was, to my surprise, so many of you out there that felt the same way I did, was going in for the same test I did, and were scared to death as I was.
So this is an attempt to talk about my mom's experience and hopefully shed some light on the experience for others. Please keeping in mind that everyone has a unique medical reason or need for this test. Not every experience will be like my mom's. We did not see any firsthand accounts, which we already went over that. But by creating this video, we hope that that can change. So one of the main things we're going to be talking about is the reason for the test. The doctors ordered the test to clear my mom so she could have pulmonary rehab, which is when you have issues with your lungs. It basically is when you go in and you get on the treadmill and they try to increase your lung stamina and strengthen the good quality lung tissue that remains after a long illness or a long health condition. A lot of people are going through cardiac rehab or pulmonary rehab after a stroke, after some cardiac issues, even after COVID. But my mom has, can I tell about, okay. My mom has COPD, which is a lung condition that it makes it hard for her to walk extended amounts of time. So the need for cardiac pulmonary rehab is to really strengthen her lung tissue and to help her and gain areas of strength within her legs, within her arms, and just help her stay more mobile. In order for her to get this new prescription of the pulmonary rehab, she's has to go through several hoops. She already had the pulmonary function test, which is a breathing test, but the doctor needed to clear her to have a non-treadmill cardiac stress test. Now, there are many different medicines that they use to inject into through your arm by way of IV to simulate you being on a treadmill. So she doesn't have to get on the treadmill and make her heart rate go to the max capacity. This medicine will do that for her. For someone who has panic attacks and anxiety attacks like my mom does, and we'll talk about that in a moment, the mere thought of being told you have to go in for a stress test stresses you out. So would you say when he said that, were you stressed out?
Beyond words.
Right. So when you have already have something on board that is making it hard for you to breathe, which exasperates panic attacks, and panic attacks make it harder for you to breathe. And then your doctor says you need to go for a cardiac stress test. That's the trifecta that you don't want to have. And this was building up and building up. We scheduled it, I think, 2.5, 3 weeks ago.
2 weeks ago.
2 weeks ago, and we've just been building up with it every single day. We did have an opportunity to go in for our testing last week, and what happened on that Monday when we woke up?
I was okay for the week prior to last Monday because I knew I had a whole week to prepare myself, but it didn't work. I could think about it Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and then Saturday became Sunday, and I knew tomorrow I would have this thing to go to.
So what happened last Monday? You woke up and you canceled the appointment, or did you not think you could do it?
I didn't think I could do it at all. I had worked myself up into such a state of mind that I was going to die. I have horrific panic attacks, like it goes through the roof. And the pressure just did a number on me. That was last week. And last week when I canceled it, I said, next Monday. Then I went through the same thing again. I thought, okay, I got a whole week to sit and I don't have to worry about it. And that week went by so fast. Before I knew it, it was Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and here we were Monday morning. And I couldn't believe it.
So what was different today versus last week? Was there anything different?
I knew my time was running out, that I had to have the test. I knew that. And I might be 77 years old, but I was letting my fear take hold of me. And boy, that's a son of a gun, because when that takes hold of you, you lose it. You lose it completely. And I did.
So as we got my mom into the wheelchair, got her out into the car, I could sense with each passing mile from here to the hospital, she was getting more labored breathing, more panic attack. This vicious circle was going just as the wheels were going to get towards the hospital. I noticed that we got some anxiety medications on board, but once you're already shot out of the cannon, it takes a lot for that medicine to actually pull you down to a calmer spot. But it wasn't until after probably 20, 25 minutes, once we got to the hospital, we got in the waiting room, I could see her shoulders kind of start to settle in, and she wasn't as perched and shaking in anxiety. We waited a long time in the waiting room, which doctor's offices you do. They called us in and got us into a room and really started going fairly quickly. Bedside manner is really important for anyone watching this video that might be in, nursing or medicine, patient care. Just because you don't have panic attacks or you don't understand what it is they're going through, you still have to treat them like they are a human being, because you know what? They are a human being. Thank goodness I was there. The person who initially took her in, he was just very technical and didn't really appear to have any emotions. Maybe he was protecting himself because he just is focused on the tasks at hand. I get that. But he was just very void of compassion. We did lay out her concerns about the position of the blood pressure cuff. And what was one of your first questions you asked him once we got into that room about me?
I wanted to know if my daughter could be in the room with me. The thought of going through it and being alone was hard. And when he said, of course she can, it eased it a little. But you have to understand, when you have panic attacks, they're so powerful. They're bigger than you are. And there's not much you can do about it. You try and ride with it. You try and go, okay, I'll be all right. But you don't think you're going to be all right. You really don't. I remember getting in the car this morning and I told my daughter, this is the day I'm dying. Because that's exactly how I felt. I thought, in order to go through this, I will die. Very scary, very extremely scary for me. And anybody who has ever had a panic attack. My panic attack today put me through the roof. And I had nowhere to go. I mean, I didn't feel I could go any higher. So I had to go down.
Like your panic balloon couldn't take you any higher. You knew the only other place for you to go was to start floating back down. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. But that's easier said than done. And I was looking for a way out. It didn't matter how, what, where. It didn't matter. I wanted out. Only I didn't get out.
I beg to differ with you. You did get out because you went through. You went through the experience.
Yeah, but see, I have this wonderful, wonderful daughter that puts up with me, and God knows why, I don't know, but she does. But then again, I look at the other situation on the other side, and I think to myself, yes, she puts up with a lot from me, but being her mother, it wasn't a bed of roses raising her. She was a brat.
Okay, wait.
She was.
That's not what this video is about.
No, but I'm
With
just
all due
saying.
respect, Mother, are you trying to basically say that there are times in someone's life where you have to start taking care of those who've taken care of you?
No.
Meaning you took care of me for so many years and now I should be taking care of you, or that's not what this video is about.
But that's not what I'm saying.
Okay.
Either. I'm not saying that. I'm just making statements that without you with me today, I would not have gone through it. I wouldn't have.
Okay. So if we can, let's try to stay on task. Yeah. So we're going to get back to the procedure. Now, the first one, she's in the room, they hooked up the IV, they listened to her lungs, they set off some type of initial tracer dose, and then we have to wait in a waiting room for about 20 minutes or so before we entered into the nuclear medicine department to get the first of 2 scans. Now, timing may be different for everyone, but they lasted about 15 minutes, both of them. The first one, that 15 minutes seemed long, but the second one seemed longer because we knew we were close to the end. We did the first scan, and positioning someone on one of those scanning beds is a challenging feat because you have to get up and then you have to position your head, and this machine kind of navigates around your chest. You don't go into like a CT scan where you're in like a donut or in like a tube. It just is really close and comes up right around your chest and then goes slow, like every minute or so it moves, and then it comes back around. That procedure takes about 15 minutes. During that time, your hands have to be around, like on, like above your head. The technician let me stay in there with my mom. I don't know if the technician where you are at any hospital, any place that does that procedure, if they will allow that. But we live in a fairly populated area of Chicago, and they allowed that. So it can be done. So fight for that for your loved one if that's an option. If you have someone that can just be with you in the room, just to talk with you through that. I was able to hold my mom's hands behind her back, her behind her head, because holding your hands like this and staying calm for 15 minutes under any normal circumstances is not a pleasant experience. But we did it, and I talked her through it, kept counting down the minutes and letting her know she's doing a good job. Then once they took that off, then we were free for a little bit. And then we go into a separate room where we met a nurse, Beth Ann, who was absolutely amazing. She should give the first person lessons on bedside manner, because she was just met my mom where she was at. She talked to her about her panic and her anxiety. She empathized with her, and she let her know that she was going to be with her every step of the way. And I could again see more of that panic balloon start to deflate, or continue to deflate even more, because she felt like her concerns were being heard, not just by me, but by another medical professional that was trying to get my mom to get through the test. So they go through the procedure of getting her EKGs all set up and the electrodes all on her. Then a nurse comes in and starts to administer the medicine, which is different for everyone. So for me to give the name of the medicine my mom had would not do anyone any good. But older medicines, 10, 20 years ago, when they were doing this, they would give you medicines that would really shock your system and make your heart beat really fast and be like an accelerated form of caffeine to simulate you being on the treadmill and overexerting yourself. Medicines are a lot different now. They've gotten less invasive. So when you're on the medicine, it's a very shortened amount of time. But I want my mom to talk about what she felt before she was going to get, right as she was getting the medicine. So what were the things that were going through your head?
Well, being I have COPD, I lose my breath. Not lose it, but it's a little hard sometimes to breathe. If I go in the bathroom or walk from the kitchen into the living room, not all the time, but most of the time, it becomes a problem because I feel like I'm huffing and puffing, and I don't like that. It scares me. And this Beth Ann was explaining it to me that I would feel this rush once the dye was put in my IV, and for about a minute or two, my breathing would be very shallow, which it was, almost to the point that I was panicking again. But I had two nurses and
the initial person, the nuclear medicine person.
Yeah, they were all in the room with me. Each one had their own job on me. And as soon as they inject the medicine, believe this or not, I was told that they would get me coffee right away. That coffee is the antidote to the shortness of the breath. That it would calm me right away and level me off.
The coffee acts as like an accelerant to the medicine, did what it needs to do. It's on board. So now the coffee actually helps get that medicine and start that medicine being flushed from your system. That, was really music to your ears because you hadn't had coffee that yet. So far that day. So being told as soon as they do
That
that,
day,
or today,
today,
to do that medicine, once they run its course for the 2 minutes, then she gets the coffee and then she'll start to feel better. So the main thing that they said is that you might feel like a little bit harder to breathe for a little while, but it's for a couple minutes, but it doesn't make your heart race. It doesn't. And they're asking you, they're monitoring your pulse ox, they're monitoring on the EKG. They were blood pressure, everything. They were on her, just making sure that she was okay for that time period. And then she got coffee with, what did she put in it?
vanilla, French vanilla.
French vanilla. So she had the French vanilla cream, and she drank that coffee fast. And then we were done with that phase, and we had to wait in another room for 20 more minutes before the last set of scans. Now, they kept the EKG leads on for the second set of scans. They do hook up the EKG monitors, and it's the same 15 minutes. But although the second one did appear like it was shorter, maybe it was just 10 minutes. But it's the same procedure with the machine going over. Her arms have to be back. She has to be positioned just so. And then once they're done, they take off the EKG leads, and then we were free to go. So we do know that everyone's situation is different. Some people might start out on a test. Some people might have the test canceled for whatever reason. Some people might have a completely different reason for getting the test. But the goal for us to share this video is to let people know that you're not alone, that if you're nervous about this test, you would think just the name of the test, a cardiac stress test, just cardiac test would make me
A nuclear.
A nuclear cardiac stress test. So 3 things that would make your blood pressure raise, your heart kind of starts skipping a beat. And if you already have other pre-existing conditions, that adds just another layer of concern. And it's that fear of the unknown that can stop you from being proactive about your health. I just want to encourage people to consider walking through that fear, just like my mom did today. I know it wasn't easy for you, but you did escape by actually walking through it, and you made it through. I mean, it took a lot out of you, but you actually withstood it. You went through all the steps, and you have the courage to do so,
But it was one of the hardest things I've ever done in my life. One of the hardest.
But you did it.
Yeah, I did it, but it wasn't easy. And I say that because when you let fear and anxiety, and that's what anxiety is, fear. When you let it take over you, like I did, it's hard. It's very, very hard. And you either give in or you go forward.
And you went forward today.
And today I just finally said to myself, okay, the last time I had to lay down and this machine went over me, I said to myself, all right, I've got 15 minutes. And my daughter's right at my ear telling me, Mom, you got 11 minutes. Mom, you got 9 minutes. Mom, she counted it right down for me. I can only tell you how fortunate and how lucky I am to have her. So if you have a mother, a father, a friend, a sister, an aunt, anybody that you're close with, please confide in them and tell them if you're afraid. Don't be ashamed to be afraid. And ask them to go with you. And ask when you get there, explain that it's so hard for you. And ask if they could sit with you. Julie never left my side. Never.
But it's important important to note that maybe not other facilities will
But you,
allow that, but you won't know unless you ask.
right,
Sometimes you have to be that advocate for someone you know that might not ask, and you're their family member or a friend that you know they're going to go through the test. Maybe they won't even go do the test if they know they have to be by themselves. And it's literally the anxiety and the mental health aspect of public health is completely just deterring them from taking care of their health. So if you have to intervene on their behalf, do so. Offer to give them that information and have them ask the technician. Most of the people making the schedules and making the appointments, they don't know this for sure if you can. But if you go with them to take them and be with them, be an assertive advocate for them and tell them that this is, you need to be with them. And the worst they could say is, well, we can't. Well, then talk to your supervisor. If you can actually show that you're advocating for someone, even if the end all be all result is no, I'm sorry, they can't, at least you asked. At least you could reference this video and what we went through, that it is possible to be in that room, and to be there, even if they could just be there to hear your voice, if they can't be there to hold your hand. This may be the difference between someone getting this test and getting the all clear, or finding out something's going on that needs to be addressed. This might be the difference for between them doing that and getting to the other side of this and them not doing it at all. So we have to be each other's advocate, and we have to advocate for ourselves to get the support that we do need, because a big component of our physical health is mental health. And that includes anxiety and panic disorders and every other mental health condition under the sun that is tightly related to our overall health. And when we talk about testing, the fear and anxiety of going to get a test is already going to be there to begin with. But when it's just an insurmountable amount, we need to advocate for our family members, our loved ones, and sometimes even for ourselves, to let them know. Maybe a nurse can't hold your hand, but maybe you can ask if somebody can at least be there in the room with you, because that might be the only reason, only way you will go and get this test or any other test you're facing. So what are your, I'm done with the test. What's your closing thoughts about your experience today?
well, I wouldn't want to tell you not to be afraid, because that would be a lie. Uh, to work yourself up, that's another lie, because it doesn't happen that easy. We're all afraid of the unknown. Even going through talking to people that had it, they left out so much. And it really didn't help me at all. It didn't calm me down. I didn't walk away and say, oh, now that doesn't sound so bad. I could do that. No.
The goal of this video is to share just my mom's unique experience in hopes that someone else that's battling anxiety over this test, or just has anxiety about any type of test, will know that they're not alone. And the tool and the takeaway would hopefully be to be an advocate for yourself and ask them at the scheduling, bring your whoever, get someone to come with you and prepare them that there's an option that you might be able to be in the room with me when I have these scans done. Would that be okay? And if they're on board, advocate, have them, and you tell them that this is what you need. There are some types of procedures and testings and facilities that don't have that capacity, and they don't allow that, but you will never know unless you ask. Right. And there's no need to go about a stressful environment if you don't have to. The test itself is stressful. Waiting for the results is stressful. But if you can do something and take back some of that control that panic attacks and fears aim to steal from you when they hit, and I suffer from panic attacks as well, so I know the vicinity from where my mom was at today. But you have to take steps to take that control back and advocate for yourself. There might not be someone at the hospital that can hold your hand, but hopefully you have a family member, a friend, a neighbor, someone that you're close with, someone at church, somebody you might work with, somebody that can come with you and possibly be prepared to be with you for a portion, if not all of that procedure. That might be the difference, as I said, between you getting the test and you electing, nope, I can't do it.
And I had moments that I said to myself, I can't do this.
But you did it.
But I did it. But it doesn't stop for how you feel.
No, it doesn't. And it's important to acknowledge those feelings too, because you don't want to store up that stress and that fear and that anxiety. Talk about it. Talk about it to a friend. Even if nobody can come with you, talk about those feelings, because it is normal to have these feelings of stress and anxiety
But see,
over tests, especially going in for a cardiac stress test. Hello, the name stress is in there. But
you know what? My daughter says the cardiac stress test, it's a nuclear.
I understand. It's the
And
nuclear cardiac stress test.
That alone is like, it's powerful.
But you were more powerful than that, more than your fear today.
Well,
it might have not felt like it, but you were, because you went through it. You went through it. You wanted to stop throughout along the way several times, but you kept forging ahead and you went through it. You went through the storm. You showed your anxiety and your panic attack who's boss. You did.
Well, for the moment, I mean, don't think he don't creep back on me.
Well, but you won the battle today.
Today, and I didn't think I would.
And you did.
I didn't. I really didn't. I mean, I was up since 4 o'clock this morning.
Hopefully you'll sleep very well tonight.
And went to bed like at 1. And it was not a very restful sleep, because I knew the hours were ticking away, ticking away, ticking away. And last night it was 15 hours. And then before I knew it, it was 5. And I wondered where the other 10 went.
We're going to wrap up the video for now. Again, the goal is to encourage you to be your own advocate, to reach out to people to talk about how you're feeling, your doctors about how you're feeling. Make them listen. It's their job to not just treat your conditions. It's their job to treat you, who you are, even your panics, your fears, your questions. Make them listen and be your own advocate. Hopefully get someone to go with you and experience that process with you to ease your mind to the best of the facility's ability to allow that to happen. But we do hope this video gives you some encouragement to let you know you are not alone, and that if my mom can go through this test today and get through that other side, I have confidence that you can do the same. Everybody be well. We hope you got something for the video, and thanks for being a part of this video with me, Mom.
You're welcome, and thank you all for listening.
Have a great day.
Bye.